Alrighty, good evening, everybody. I'm going to give everybody a few minutes to come in, as I customarily do. But this is Starship Adventures. My name's Ian, and live on the screens before you, you see the sights and sounds of Earth. And we're going to be going all around tonight to see what's going on and where it's going on all around our wonderful planet that we have here. All right, so let's see here. Tonight we're gonna talk a little bit about last night's manhunt, last night's shooting out in Idaho. We're gonna talk some about that. We're also gonna talk some about we got one tornado warning right now, just one, and it is here, and it looks like it's right near the Baltimore area, just northeast of Baltimore. So we're going to be covering that as well tonight, and any other breaking weather that comes in. We also have the flight tracker pulled up and standing by if we need it. And we've also got cams up from Philadelphia where we're walking the streets right now. We've got Tel Aviv, Israel, where there is an anti-Trump protest going on right now. We've got the Middle East in the middle right, and that's a bunch of different views from around the Middle East, where we are expecting additional attacks through the night here in the Middle East. And then the upper right corner there, that's Carlotta Alata. I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. What happened to her label? There we go. I don't know how that got turned off. Okay, so there we go. Let's turn that back on. Okay, that's Carlotta Alata here in Southwest Florida. That's her live frog cam. Oh, there we go. I had to adjust the light up a little bit. We do manually adjust that camera. We will eventually get a more expensive camera out there that will provide us with all the good views that we need without any kind of human intervention. Anyway, and then the upper center, we've got our world tour and our Times Square cams up. And we are just watching around to see what's going on. There is some news out there tonight, but not a lot. We'll discuss what's coming up later tonight on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, my favorite radio show. And we're also going to talk about, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about that situation that we had in Idaho yesterday that ended up being absolutely crazy. All right, guys, I'm going to pull up the chat. I have to give it a minute for it to cycle through. Thanks for all the thumbs up and the subscriptions last night. I'm honored. We did a great job last night getting back a lot of those subs, and I really appreciate that. There's my crew already here. There is Lieutenant Commander Peggy Elf and also Lieutenant Commander Pam from the Sparkle Squad. The Sparkle Squad is a special squad of shuttlecraft pilots that go out when the duty calls. All right, so there we go. Sticking with the Star Trek theme all night. I don't care. It is what it is. Thanks for coming in, guys. I appreciate it. Yes, Peggy, God bless. I've loved Coast to Coast. Let me tell you something. When I was on at the fire station, in the middle of the night, we used to get these calls way out off of State. Hey, Brandon, we used to get these calls way out off of State Road 31. And I mean, calls that were 35 minutes from the station. And we would drive home from these calls at 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're falling asleep in the truck. I talked to Chief at the time into allowing us to have an AM/FM radio in the truck. And he made a deal with me if I could make it to where when we lifted the mic, the speakers would go off for the AM/FM radio. And I did that using a carrier switch from a Motorola system, and I used a relay, and I killed the negative ground going to the 4 speakers anytime the mic was not on the rocker, and we were allowed to have a radio. So long story short, it wasn't long before we found Coast to Coast AM, and we were listening to Art Bell riding back to the station in the 90s in the middle of the night, and we would be we would listen to whatever they were talking about on Coast to Coast all the way back to the station, and then sometimes we would sit up and listen to the rest of the segment before we went to bed. But that's where it started. Coast to Coast has a lot in my life. I'll tell you, I've interviewed George Norrie myself on our radio here, on our station here. I got an amazing opportunity to have him for about 13 minutes, which was a great interview. I'm looking forward. If I find it, I will play it for you guys. And I also, that show, I was working night shift because I had retired from the fire service and I wanted to find a good job. I wanted to get back into something like a career. I was in the fire service for 17 years. My back got bad. I couldn't do that kind of work anymore. And I didn't want to fly a desk. I was done. I was done in government. I wanted to get out of government, go into the private sector, make less money, have a better time. And so that's what I did. And I was bored. I wanted to do something cool. And I walked into a radio station. Why? Because I had worked some stupid security job for about 6 months. And every night I listened to Coast to Coast because I knew it from the fire station. So I was listening to the show every night. So finally I put a suit on and walked into the building here in town that broadcasts that show, and also a bunch of TV, radio stations, and print media. It's a huge locally owned broadcast center. And I walked in there with a suit on, and they hired me at that station. I was even program director for a while. I produce right now the #1 talk radio show in Southwest Florida. And yeah, I mean, it was a lucky thing for me. And it's a great job because I don't need any back to do it. I can do it. It's all sitting in a chair, pushing buttons. Yeah, I absolutely love where I'm at right now. I've now been doing that for 14 years. And my host and I have become very good friends. And my call screener. And we have this amazing show. I got a great program director. And yeah, I mean, I feel pretty fortunate. They're getting ready to move my studio a lot further away from my house. I guess if I had one thing to bitch about, I could bitch about that. Hey, there we go. There we go. It's Lieutenant Aquarius. Thank you for coming in tonight. Noble Aquarius, as we call him. And thank you for being here. And yeah, I'm gonna have to come up with ranks for everybody. We're gonna have to figure that out. You'll have to be like, you'll have to be on the Federation Security Squad, or you'll be in the Shuttle Reconnaissance Team, or we'll have to figure all that out. I'm working on all that. I'm gonna come up with something really clever. Just give me some time. But for right now, I do appreciate you guys, and the ones of you that have been coming in for a while. I'm gonna start assigning. I'm just gonna start assigning a wrench to you guys after I see you for 3 or 4 weeks. I can always turn them off later. But I want you guys to feel like family here. If you're coming in every night, and you're helping me out, I'm going to make you a mod. However, it's going to need to be known, and the reason I really want to email my mods first is because I'm a free speech chat room. And unless people are plugging my competition, like last night, thank you, Peggy, for taking care of that. Or, I don't mind. I'll even talk about it. Like when Ryan Hall, y'all's got coverage on, he's great. I'll mention it, but that's up to me to mention it. It's not up for somebody else to come in here and say, Ryan Hall, y'all's live, and his coverage is better than your shit. Well, I hate that. That's just rude. And so we will ban those people out or time them out. And then if you get heavy with the racial slurs for no reason, we're just going to get rid of that because that's just distasteful. And then threatening, that's pretty much the only things I don't want in the chat room. YouTube would prefer you don't use the F word, the S word, the P word, or the C word. And that's fine with me. I don't really care. Bad words don't bother me. I use an old Chinese camera that I bought that doesn't do very well. I'm getting a new one soon. So I don't even know what the brand is. I bought it for like $50. It's got a manual lens package on it. That's why I bought it. It's made for broadcasters, but it's not a very good camera, but it does do an okay job. But it has a manual lens package with a little telephoto lens, so I have a lot more options with it. That's why I use it. I'm in the process right now, as the money starts to trickle in from YouTube, and it is starting to. We're one of the first things we're getting is 4 studio cameras. They're about this big. They're remote control, and we've already got the spots placed out for them. And we will eventually have 4 studio cams that we will have networked in here, so I can actually take the different cams from different angles, and show everybody working at their workstations and stuff when they're here. I'm here alone tonight, by the way. The wife's off on business, and Joseph's at home, and Simplex Radio is with family, and so I am here tonight by myself. So there you go. Yeah, Logitech does make pretty good stuff. I can't really complain about their stuff, but I don't know anything about specific models. I'll be honest, I'm still trying to figure it out. These were a recommendation, the ones I am looking at, but I'm still not sure which brand or whatever I'm going to get of these. I'm just going to get into the $120 range and out of the $40 to $50 range. When you're in that $40 to $50 range, and I hate to use prices, but that's kind of the way it works. With Chinese equipment, if you want better equipment, you have to pay a little more money, just like with anything else, really. And so I'm looking at what I want to do, but I want to have a better camera. Laptops generally always have a camera, but they're normally not very good. Yeah, it's good, Peggy, if you're joining like in a small window or something. They work great for that. I'm looking for something here that does like a full screen. When I go full screen on this, I mean, you can see it's not so bad. I mean, it looks pretty good. I got it focused in really nice. But that's about optimum right there, and the settings are not perfect, so yeah. It looks a little weird because I use red and blue accent lighting. I don't know if you guys noticed. It's just something interesting. I like to. I don't mind telling you guys what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. I don't really mind. I don't care. One of the neat things I do is in the radio business, which I'm in. We do a lot of advertising, and I work with not only ad advertisers, but TV advertisers and branding specialists, and people that specifically work in advertising. And one of the things that is so important, even for radio, but it's really important online media like this, is consistent branding is just so important. If you guys notice, when you look down my page and you see all of my thumbnails, they all eerily match. You want to know what that is? I always include, this is I'm gonna give you guys some industry secrets tonight, so get ready to write this down, because here we go. My wife always tells me you shouldn't give away all your secrets. And she's right. Oh Christ. Anyway, let me just I want to show you guys this. I'm gonna go over to the left screen here and see if let me just center this up real quick. Give me just a second. I want the presentation always to be good. But when I do my YouTube page, one of the things that I've been very specific about is branding. And because branding is so very important. And so I want you guys to notice something. I'm going to run down my page here, and I want you to see something on my YouTube page. Okay, notice that everything has one thing in common. Does anybody know what it is? I'm gonna go through these. Anybody see what it is? There's one thing in common with almost all of my pictures. No, not every one of them. There's a few that are a little off-brand, but let's look at some of my latest videos here. What do you guys notice about every one of these videos? If you look in the background of every one of these videos, there's something common in every one. Yes, my logo's in every one, that's true, but that's not what I'm talking about. Look at the colors. Every picture, the background is half red and half blue. It's something I do. It's branding. And it's even this here with the lightning bolt in the middle. You can see nearly everything I do, the background is half red and half blue. And that has become a part of my brand, is that, look at this, half red, half blue, half red, half blue. It's all, every one of my logos is half red and half blue. And I know it seems a little redundant, and it's kind of vague. Yeah, I do see it. I do see that every picture you put up is half red and half blue. I see it now. Why is that important? Well, I'm gonna tell you why it's important. It is important because it's called recognition branding. It's recognizing my logo by seeing it. When you scan down the page and you see this aurora borealis and the storm in the distance and the red and the blue light coming in from the sides, you know it's me. That is that's branding, and that's important. Hey Carl, what's up? Thanks for coming in tonight. I don't expect a big crowd tonight, but that's okay. I can't stay on till 2 in the morning tonight either, so I need to try to get some sleep. I want to update you guys on what's going on here in the studio. By the way, back to my pictures. If you're making pictures like thumbnails for your YouTube channel, or you're making postage stamps for your posts on YouTube, or whatever you're making them for, when you go to your AI, whether it's Grok, whether it's Copilot, whether it is ChatGPT, whether it is all the other ones that I use here, I can't remember the names. Regardless of the one you use, you put in there, illuminate the background with, and then put the colors of your channel. If your channel colors are green and purple, color the background half green and half purple. If your colors are purple, like my wife's, anything I make for my wife's, all of her frog pictures, the frogs around the pool and all that, I've made hundreds of those pictures for her. Notice every one of them, the landscape lighting is purple, the pool lighting around the pool is purple, there's purple uplights on the walls. I do that on purpose. Her channel color's purple. And so it all comes down to that instantaneous branding. If you're looking for the frog cam and you scan down the page, you'll probably notice it because it'll be the one with a lot of purple in the icon, because that's her color. It's just something you do on YouTube that I notice 90% of the channels out there don't seem to understand the basics of color branding and shape branding. If you always use round logos, you should always use round logos. Notice my logo is not perfect. Sometimes I don't even much like it. Truth is, it's a great logo. People remember it, people see it, they want to go see what it's about. But notice I won't change it. I will not change it. I won't change the colors, I won't change the shape. I'm not going to change anything, at least for a long time, at least till I'm over 100,000. And then maybe we'll go through kind of a subtle rebrand where we freshen things up a little bit. But now's not the time. I want to stay steady to course. I want to keep that branding in place. I have not seen a motive. They have released his name. They are still not coming clean as to whether they shot him or he shot himself. I think it's very I honestly think what's going on is it was an officer-involved shooting, and the reason I know that is because the sheriff made a mistake at the end, which is easy to do in a press conference. Trust me, I've done a bunch of them myself. You want to be forthcoming, but there's a lot of things you can't say, but you want to say a lot, but you can't say a lot, and then you say something you're not supposed to say. It sucks. But towards the end, he mentioned the officer-involved shooting part of the investigation is being handled by the state police. But all through the press conference, he said, we're not saying how the man died. But then at the end, he tells us who is handling the officer involved shooting portion of the incident. That tells us right there they capped him. It's no way around it. They popped his, you know what? There you go. Listen, if you guys have not, and I plan to do this certain nights, but there is certain tools that I use to make logos, and one of the ones I use is Microsoft Bing. They have something called Image Create, I think it is. Let me see. Let me get the simplest link here and get it for you. This is what I use. I made a bunch of logos for Peggy and a few other of my crew here. I've made logos for you guys. There's the link. I'm being straightforward. There it is. You get 15 of them a day. You do need a Microsoft account. Hint, hint. Just make one off of some other email address that you don't use. I've got email addresses I use just to make accounts that I'm never going to go back to. But anyway, make you an account. You get 15 of these fast ones, and then it'll still do them. It just takes longer. But what this looks like, I'm going to show you guys if you want. We don't have a lot of folks in here. There's not a lot of news going on. So let me take you guys over to this. This is that link I just gave you. This is what it looks like. And how this basically works, you just describe what you want to do. I'm sure most of you have used this already. But make me a round logo of an elf with pointed ears wearing a red Star Trek original series uniform shirt. I'm not sure if it'll do this. Sometimes it gives me sometimes it'll give me a copyright thing, but let's see if it'll do it. That includes an elf with pointed ears wearing a red Star Trek. Hey, if you guys are going to go play with this, you got to leave me up in the background. That's the deal. Wearing a red Star Trek original series uniform shirt in the woods at sunset. That's it. You just hit that, and then it'll do it. Let's see. It might give me a copyright thing on this. I don't know. Sometimes it'll make shit that you wouldn't believe it'll make, and other times it'll bonk out. Oh, it might try. Did it try? What happened? It made them. It didn't make them right, but it made them, but it won't show them to me. What's it doing? Oh man. See, what it is it knows that there's a copyright problem or something, and it's giving me a fit. Let's see if it'll make them again. Is there something wrong with this thing? It made the logos, but it won't show them to me. I don't understand. Yeah, it's probably that copyright. All right, that's fine. Okay, let's try it again. I took out the brand word Star Trek. Let's see if it'll work. But anyway, I'm sorry if you guys want breaking news. There is none tonight. I'm just going to take a few minutes here and show you guys a few tricks. I put in the link for this. Here, I'll put it in again. This is the link to what I'm using right now. And hey, I want to show you guys some cool stuff. This is how you make. What is there something? There's something wrong with this thing. See, it made them. It made them, but it's not letting me see them. What the hell's it doing? Bastard. Well, guess what? Where there's a will, there's another browser. Let's put that same command in this one. Oh, is it going to make me sign in? Oh, that's just awesome. Oh, geez, it's doing like a 10-step process here. Hold on just a second. I wasn't really prepared for this. Oh, here's my single-use code. Thank God. Because someone else might get in and make pictures under my account. Fraudulently make pictures under my account. I mean, come on. What the hell? Yes, stay signed in. Moronic. All right, that was just crazy. All right, here we go. Let's try this again. Yeah, Bill Gates, whatever. It's always like that. Well, these aren't exactly perfect, but they're cute, Peggy. But see, there you go. I mean, you can make whatever image you want to make, and you just put it in there. All right, let's try it. We're gonna do the tropics here in just a minute too, so stay tuned, guys. There you go. There you go. It made it. Isn't that crazy? Hey, Victor, what's up, man? Let's see what's going on out there. All right, I'm going to figure all that out here in just a minute. Oh. All right, so that's how you do it. And so you've got all that. Now you guys know how to do that. So you can make your logos. Just put in what you want it to make, and it will make it for you. That's what's really cool about the AI now, is it'll write anything for you. I told ChatGPT exactly what kind of meta package I want for each one of my videos, and now I just say, hey, make me a meta package for this, and I put about 3 sentences about what I'm doing, and it puts the rest in. It knows everything to put in, how I want it, what order I want it in, and it writes it in the way I write. It includes the things that I feel are important, and I think it's really, really cool. All right, I'm going to be backing out here because that storm has really calmed down. So we are watching some storms down here west of Montgomery, Alabama. And there is some power outages down here now. There's some power outages reported in that county right there. So there is definitely something going on here. We'll put it on a split screen. I can't do the split screen when we got a bunch of cameras up. I see where there might be something going on, but I don't think it's dropping anything yet. But definitely some winds in there because it's coming up. Oh, nope, camera's not on that one. All right, so yeah, but we're keeping an eye on the weather. There is just a few others. Not a lot going on tonight. It's pretty quiet. There is this severe thunderstorm warning right here that we're watching near South Woodbury, Ohio, and that one's moving up out of the Delaware area. And we've got a weather statement here and a severe thunderstorm warning up here. So that really not a lot going on. Yeah, no more storms. I get it. Hey, what's up, Heath? How's it going? Yeah, for those of you who didn't hear last night, we did good at Field Day. A brand new club. We had 255 contacts. Something like that, 253. It was over 250. I know that. And we did pretty good. That's not points. That's contacts. When you add all the points in and everything, it'll be a decent score for a brand new club that's doing it for the first year. So anyway, there you go. I love Field Day. I got to sit with 3 or 4 people that have never seen FT8 operate, both hams and non-hams, and it was really a good time. There we go. Let's see. As far as the tropics, I want to talk about the tropics. We do have this area that we are watching in the tropics that happens to be this area here. And what's going to happen is we're going to have a low pressure system that's going to translate across the state from left to right, and that's going to bring a slight risk for some kind of tropical activity, a tropical storm, if you will. I don't think the energy's not quite there yet for a hurricane, but some kind of tropical storm could form. But it's probably just going to be a rainmaker, maybe a little bit of gusty winds. But we do need to kind of look on that. I am using, oh good, it's out of memory. 64 gigs of memory, and it ran out somehow. The models really, when I looked at the models earlier, they weren't picking this up, but this is a new run. This is the GFS model. Let me pull up a different. Oh crap! Where's it at? Let me zoom out a little bit. This normally gives me an option for regions, but I don't see it. That's weird. Oh, there it is, regions. Ugh. Stupid ass thing. Alright, so we're going to take a look at this region now. We're going to run this forward. This is the GFS model, and it's starting right now, starting in the morning, July 1st. You guys can almost see that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this up just a little bit, and that way when I hit this button you'll be able to see the date at the top. This is midnight tonight, which is right about now actually, because this is all in Zulu time. But we're going to run this forward and we're going to see what happens here. This tries to develop something here, but it really doesn't. You see, it just crosses the state and then ends up over in the Atlantic, and it doesn't, the GFS doesn't seem to want to really do much with it. So that's the end of that run. So not a whole lot there. We'll run the Euro. Let's just see what the Euro does. Let's just run the Euro here. Yeah, see, it doesn't develop. I mean, a little bit. It's trying something, but it really doesn't develop anything either. So I really I mean, this is almost like wishful thinking on this one. I don't think that it has much of a chance to develop. I really don't. But we are dealing with this crazy rain threat. I think there's going to be some areas of Florida that end up getting quite a bit of rain out of this. It's going to be more of a rainmaker. Let's just run the CMC, see if this picks up on it. Yeah, see, this one does. This one sees Genesis. It says it comes across northern Florida into the Atlantic, and then somewhere off of North Carolina, it's starting to deepen. They're 1,008 millibars, and then it shows it. It shows it losing the depth, but then also showing something off the coast of Florida there that's a little suspicious. So there is going to be some low pressure centers moving around, and I think that's why they've just got a very broad area there that they say that we are watching right there, because that could end up being something. We cover hurricanes like crazy, so if there's a hurricane, we're going to cover it like crazy. Trust me. We even have our own camera systems that go up on telephone poles. So really, really cool stuff. Yeah, I don't see any protests. There's nothing really brewing in the tropics. I don't see any protests. Iran protests. There's protests in Israel. There's several different places with protests. I think in the African continent and several in the Middle East. But I'm not really seeing much going on right now. The only lives I could find to give you, I pretty much am giving you right now. That's the live. He's walking around Philadelphia, but it's actually should be dark there now, so that's actually recorded earlier. That's not, even though it's coming in as live, it's not live, it's a lie. Looking at all the crackheads up there in Philadelphia. The Middle East there, those are reported to be live. They're supposed to be live, and I think they are. The top right is live. That's my wife's cam. That's Daddy Kitty out there that you see, the orange cat. And then we got Times Square. We got a world tour going on there in that little square where we're just going to check places out all around the world. Now, I want to tell you guys about the program, the project that I'm working on here. We've got I've got 4 computers. I have one that just crashed on me back here. I don't know what's wrong with it yet. I got 2 screens just with the things floating around, so I got to figure that out. But I got 4 computers, and I'm going to be putting up 4 different metropolitan areas. Each one will have fire and police scanner and in each ear, and it's also going to have the flight scanner, the flight radar for that town, so you can see all the flights and all the choppers and everything. It's also going to have the little progress bars and the little volume bars and all that stuff moving around. It's going to have radar. Some of them are even going to tell you what channel you're listening to on the scanner and stuff like that. It's going to be pretty comprehensive. We are really working on it, and it's taking a lot longer than we thought to get this going. So I'm going to get off tonight here in probably about another 40 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and get off. I'm going to go to bed, and I'm going to get up early in the morning, about 6 a.m., and I'm going to spend the day tomorrow out here till I go to work at 2, and I'm going to try to have 2 of these online tomorrow. Yeah. Yep. Peggy, Daddy Kitty's probably one of the better cats I've ever had. What a great soul. He's a male cat. We got him neutered. But before we got him neutered, he wandered up here with a badly broken back leg. And we tried to capture him. He needed to be put down. But he ran away. We couldn't get him. So we just kept putting food out for him. And finally, one day, he come wandering back up. And he's walking on that leg, and it looks fine. We can't even tell which one was broke. And this thing was like hanging off. I mean, it was like, I think it was compound. Anyway, I'm kind of glad we didn't catch him because we would have killed him that day. He went through a lot, but he managed to live. And so now, every time we get cats, we bottle feed. We take in little teeny kittens that don't even have their eyes open yet. My wife and I, and we bottle feed them. And we have cats like Daddy Kitty that literally get in the box with him and sleeps with him in there. He just loves the little kitties. And when he hears the little meows, he gets so excited because he knows he's got a new cat that he gets to take care of, or kittens that he gets to take care of. And then if they stay here, a lot of them get adopted out. A lot of them stay here. If he ends up staying here, they end up being friends for life. So Daddy Kitty is an amazing cat. We call him, he's earned the title Daddy Kitty, although I don't think he ever actually fathered a cat officially, but he sure has fathered a lot of them in a foster capacity. I can tell you that. The big beautiful bill. I am not talking politics in here. Sorry. Just did that at work. But Daddy Kitty, I tell everybody, he's got a good soul. That cat has a good soul. He just loves life. He's never hisses or never fights other. He's like the cat ambassador. When a cat shows up, he's the first one that will like make friends with it, and I don't know. He's just like, he's got a good soul. Anyway, I love cats with a benevolent. I believe that we reincarnate, and I believe we reincarnate into all different things. I believe in parallel and multiple and divisible soul development and all that kind of good stuff. And I really believe that a lot of times cats, they're just coming through like we are, and they might have been human in their last life, or they might have never been human. I don't know, but some of these cats, they're like they've done it before and other ones haven't. It's kind of strange. I got one cat that looks at me like a person. He communicates with me like, I don't know, it's weird. It's like I'm sitting in the room with somebody else, and I just turn and start talking, it's like, I don't know. You can just tell, But no, cats are special. They really are. And I know dogs can be special too. I'm just not a dog person. Damn it, Danny. Thanks, Danny. Danny is another one on our crew. She's one of our sister station content provider out here that has some really good content on her channel, and you should check that out. We really appreciate it. Damn it, Danny's been a supporter of my wife and I since we got started. We really appreciate that. All right, and Peggy and Pam also, by the way, been with us since we started. Been with us a long time anyway. Been with my wife since she started for sure. And I do appreciate that. All right, thank you to the 25 of you that are in here, and we are going to continue to look around and see what's going on out in the big wide world. As always, I'm going to mention Coast to Coast here in just a minute, but before I do, I would like to bring up space weather. We got a CME coming, but it's not a big one. As you guys know, coronal mass ejections, or CMEs, they're sent out from the sun all the time, and there'll be a magnetic bubble that forms, and when it collapses, the plasma spills in and splashes out. And when that happens, stellar matter, plasma, star material, whatever, depending on what show you want to watch, splashes out away from the sun, moves towards Earth at a fantastic rate, and that mixes with any solar wind or anything else that's going on out there, and we end up getting strange propagation out there. All right, Heath, have a good night. 7-3s. Yep. So anyway, one of these is coming in now, and it's not that strong. So there we go. If you were in the southern hemisphere, we actually have two supernovas right next to each other, and they're both naked eye supernovas, which is really cool. They're brighter than 6th magnitude, which means they're visible to our eyes, but you really can't see them in the northern hemisphere. They're viewable from the southern hemisphere. So that kind of sucks. It's like, why'd you even bother telling me about that? But that would be cool if we could see those. I'd love to get a telescope and go out and see those. But there's really not a lot going on. The moon, the disk, the disk is busy, but that's literally just where we are in the solar cycle. But there is actually quite a bit of solar activity right now, as you can see here. A number of sunspots across the sun. No really big spots right now, though. They're all pretty moderately sized or smaller. I like to drink my drink when we're on the side screen, so you guys don't know I'm doing it. See, I tell you all my secrets. All right. Let's see what else is going on out here. Something I don't get into at all is drama, court drama. We're not going to be doing much court drama on here. I do the manhunt side of it. But once they go into jail and we're talking about like court hearings and shit, I don't care. I was a cop years ago. I really don't care about none of that. And all right, I don't see anything here either. All right, let's talk for a minute. I do have some of the latest information here on that shooter. So let's do that real quick. Nope, I don't. I will though. Just give me a second here. I want to find something that is late, that is made just recently. That's not it. Okay, here we go. I got live updates here. All right, suspect has been identified in the firefighter ambush that left 2 dead and 1 injured in Idaho. Authorities identify the suspect, and they have confirmed the identity, and they found him dead up on Canfield. And I was saying Cranfield yesterday, and it's Canfield. I was wrong. If that person is still in here, they let me know like 3 times, and I was just so busy with it. I kind of got lost in all the confusion, but anyway, there you go. All right, give me just 1 second. Let's see. The suspect is believed to be the only shooter involved in the fatal ambush. Originally, it was thought there might have been a second shooter. Firefighters in Idaho he killed 2 firefighters in Idaho on Sunday. Investigators said this guy, his name is Rowley. I don't need to give his name a bunch of times because he's just a piece of shit. He's dead now anyway. Rowley is believed to have started the brush fire before shooting the responding firefighters. So he started the fire to lure them there to kill them. I mean, I don't know how much dirtier, crappier you can get than that. Right now, 2 killed, 1 injured. The injured firefighter, last we heard, was in surgery early this morning, actually. Late last night, was in surgery, and is stable as of late last night. Fire is still burning. The blaze that prompted the firefighters to respond is still burning. They are reporting there has actually been no structures reported with that. Okay, so there's that. What we know about the firefighters killed: the 2 firefighters were fatally shot, a 3rd seriously injured. After investigators say a lone gunman, we know all that. His Chief Frank Harward and so it's the Kootenai Kootenai County Fire Rescue Chief Frank Harwood and the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department Battalion Chief John Morris were the two men that were killed by the shooter. They were identified by the fire department as the fallen firefighters. The injured firefighter has been identified as Coeur d'Alene Fire Department David Trisdell, according to fire officials. He is expected to live. During a press conference Monday, Kootenai Fire and Rescue Chief Christopher Way said Harwood was a member of the agency for 17 years. He was married, had 2 children, and was a former Army National Guard combat engineer. Harwood was a leader who did an amazing job and was well respected. John Morris, 52, served with the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department for more than 28 years and moved up the ranks in his department from firefighter all the way up to battalion chief, according to the fire chief there, Tom Grief. There's the last name you need right now. The colleague shared his final memory with Morris during Monday's press conference, recalling a time when the pair smoked cigars during a rare lull in the fire station. We talked about being better fathers. We talked about being better leaders, he said. And we talked about being better firefighters, too. What a shame. The man that was injured is Dave Tisdale, 47. He holds the rank of engineer with the Coeur d'Alene Fire Department. He's recovering after undergoing 2 surgeries following the attack on firefighters in Idaho on Sunday, according to Fire Chief Tom Grief. Tisdale has been an engineer with the fire department for 23 years. We thank everybody for their love and support, they said. He is still listed as of 1 hour and 12 minutes ago. He is still listed in critical condition. So let's, you hear people say, let's send prayers and all that kind of stuff. But you know what? I do believe energy and prayers is thought, and thought and energy are important in this universe. So yeah, let's do it. Let's send our thoughts and prayers. This man is in the hospital right now, and he may or may not make it. I think he's going to. It looks good. We're hoping for the best. But he is the man that was injured yesterday. He's the 3rd person that went down. And they managed to get him out with his life. The man was, people say he was verbally aggressive in class. Some of his classmates said he got in trouble at school a few times. Okay. Suspect stepfather says he doesn't understand why this happened. What a tough thing for family, you know? He did the person that did this actually had relatives near Coeur d'Alene. It's unclear what he was doing in that area at the time of the shooting. However, the sheriff said we knew that he lived here for the better part of 2024, but as far as when he got here or what he was doing, we don't know. Why he chose this place, we don't know. So they're not really saying that they have a motive. Nothing's really coming out as a motive right now. All right, anything on this, guys? Any questions? Anything I can try to answer? Looks like he used a shotgun. which goes against, again, the initial reports that it was a sniper a long way away. But you have to remember, the initial reports came from firefighters that were under fire, not people that were trained to deal with this, but firefighters who were coming to a brush fire and suddenly came under sniper fire. So you can't expect, perfect recount of what happened. Looks like he might have been up in a tree. Suspect talked to the firefighters before he opened fire. Apparently he had a discussion with the firefighters who responded to the brush fire before he ultimately shot 3 of them. They're still in the process of investigating that conversation. Wow. Now the sheriff did say 4 hours ago that it looks like that he took his own life. They're saying he took his own life, although he referred to it as an officer-involved shooting last night. That may have just been an error. It wasn't. He shouldn't have maybe called it an officer-involved shooting. He should have just called it a shooting. That may have been the mistake last night. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I think the sheriff's done a pretty good job. I was pretty impressed with his 2 press conferences yesterday. He seemed to do it. And I'm somebody that's a member of the media now that gets pretty disgusted with how little information we get from law enforcement, and also someone that used to be a cop. And someone who also was a public information officer on a fire department for a long time. So I have very unique views on some of this stuff, and I think the sheriff did a pretty good job yesterday with his press conferences. I think, as always, they were keeping way too much information under the cuff. They do that on purpose. They don't have to tell us, so they don't. It's a lack of respect thing in a lot of ways. They tell us what they think they need to tell us more than what they can tell us. And a lot of times they don't tell us things that they could tell us, and that's the bottom line. And so that's the only criticism I had, is I think he could have been a lot more forthcoming sooner on. But that's a criticism I always have for government. They always could be more transparent, and they always could be quicker at giving out the information that they do give. It's true, slugs at a close range would look like a high-powered rifle round. I agree with that. No, the Starship After Dark channel is up. The link is down. I want you to see. That's the computer that does it. And all I got now is the color bars on the screen. It crashed. I tried to restart it, and it restarted, but the screens aren't showing anything. Something is wrong with that. I don't know if I'll have it up tonight or not. It'll probably be tomorrow, but I'll figure it out. I think I'm going to take the 7.2 down for a little while. But I'm working on another computer right now that I think I can still put the 7.2 up on. Let me see what I can do with that. But anyway, for tonight, for 2 different reasons, it's down. Anyway, I'm not getting any hits on the 7.2, to be honest. I'm getting very, very little viewer hours. I got to find things to do with these computers that have enough of a following to make it worth it. Every computer requires every 12 hours requires maintenance. I have to come out, I have to reset, refresh, redo, restart. And if I'm going to do 5 or 6 or 7 of these, I've got to make sure that they're worth the electricity and worth the effort and worth the time and worth making sure there's someone here to do it if I'm not available, and stuff like that. So there's a lot to it. Yeah, I don't know. The forensic psychology on this one is very strange, actually. I was expecting it to be, this guy has a grudge, they wouldn't hire him as a firefighter, or this was that guy from up the street, the white supremacist dude. Remember that? I was thinking it was going to be something that would have been a lot more explainable. You know, a lot of times the most easily explained answer is the answer, but this is what we ended up with. All right. But that's what we ended up with there. The guy, other than a little bit of trouble in school, and other than a few people saying that he was just a rude sumbitch, he really had no criminal history to speak of. They've been unable to find any criminal history for 20-year-old suspect Wes Rowley, but law enforcement has interacted with him 5 or 6 times. Rowley, who has lived in California, Arizona, and Idaho, showing no criminal history on NCIS at all. NCIC. I just said NCIS to show. NCIC. The 2 police departments, each has interacted with him several times. All the interactions were minor, and there was no arrests. They've also done a welfare check on him too. So it sounds like he had some issues, but nothing that rose to a criminal level. I don't know. That might be. He's 20 years old. I know down here you can be I was a firefighter when I was 18, so he might be trying to get a job and somebody wouldn't hire him. Let's ask everybody. Guys, let's. Heath has a question. What do you guys think? Here it is. Yeah, you guys think he was denied a job at the fire department, or he had some kind of beef against the fire department? I don't know. Authorities do not have any indication of a suspect's motive behind the ambush-style shooting at Canfield Mountain that left 2 firefighters dead. Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris said the matter remains under investigation. Norris said authorities hope the inventory of Wes Rowley's vehicle will provide insight into a possible motive. He added that it is unclear whether Rowley's desire to be a firefighter played any role in the possible motive. There it is right there. He had a desire to be a firefighter. Does that change you guys' vote now? You can't change your vote. Oh no. Yeah, I think that that might be the case. I know that I was when I was a full-time firefighter, I was a lieutenant for quite a long time, as I was the training officer for the department, and I also did the volunteer program, and we brought on all the new volunteers, and was a pretty steady turnover with volunteer programs, and there was a lot of people that all they wanted to be was a firefighter. That's it. I had one guy, all he wanted to be was a firefighter. That's all he wanted to be. But he had some lewd and lascivious arrest when he was 19 years old, and he's 23 now, and he wants to be a firefighter. And I'm like, you had a felony arrest. I can't even certify you, you know. And he got really mad and made some threats and this and that. So, I mean, I understand it. It's a passion. A lot of, like, I was passionate. I wanted to be a cop or a fireman, or I knew I wanted to be in public safety. I knew that from day one. From as far back as I can remember, I knew I wanted to be in public safety and communications, and even broadcasting. I used to watch the local news for the broadcast part of it, you know, how it was done, and I used to just be so interested in all that, and I still kind of am. And I've always known where my interests were in life, and it was fire, law enforcement, and then it was communications and broadcasting, and I've managed to do all 4. I'm still doing 2. All right, I guess that's about what I got here. The rest is just all the different thoughts and prayers coming in. Yep. And the governor in Idaho has ordered the flags flown at half-staff statewide. in honor of those men that have died. And I think that's probably a really good idea. So there you go, guys. That's the latest on the situation out there. Only you can prevent forest fires. Only you. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll. It looks like, only got 4 votes. I don't know what happened there, but 4 of you feel that he will not have been trying to get a job. And one of you believes that he was probably denied a job at the fire department. Heath, I really don't like getting into that, to be honest with you, because I don't bring my politics onto this station. So I really don't want to get into that. I just don't. I don't like the shit where I eat, and I really don't want to talk about my politics or anything else on here, because I prefer doing things other than politics most of the time. I will tell you, and I'm sure you can figure it out for yourself, but I will tell you that our parent company, we have no parent company. The company I work for is locally owned and operated. It's one of the largest locally owned, locally operated broadcast conglomerates that there is. We've got 2 or 3 print media, 3 or 4 TV stations, and we have, I think, 11 or 12 radio stations now under the same roof, 300 employees. And we are locally owned and locally operated, which is very, very unique. I'm so happy to not be a Clear Channel station. You know, to not have my boss up in New York somewhere pulling my strings. We have a wonderful family that owns us, and we have great jobs, and we have a great station, and we are doing great in the ratings. I don't know what else to say. So it is what it is. But no, I don't want to get into it here, because if I start talking about where I work and what I do and who my host is and everything else, then there'll be people that immediately get turned off because they don't like people that are of a certain way politically, and it's not worth losing friends over. It's just, I don't know. It's just a thing. I don't want to. I've got a good thing going there. I've been there. I'm coming up on my 14th year anniversary there after a 17-year career in the fire service. And I did 3 or 4 jobs in between that I really hated. Oh my God. I ended up, my friend did this, so I did that for a while. My friend did this. I drove a cab for a while. What a shit job that was. And I drove a wrecker for a while. What a shit job that was. Oh my God. I did security for a while at night. What a shit job that was. But I got to listen to Coast to Coast. Man. And then I got into broadcasting, and I love it. I found a second career. A lot of people rarely find a second career they can love and do. No, it's not, ding ding. Because you know what? I don't care. I don't care how you are politically, because we're not in here doing politics. And if you feel one way about politics and I feel the other, we can yell at each other all night, and at the end of the night we'll go to bed feeling the same way we felt when we woke up this morning. So there's no sense in losing friends over it. I used to be one of the warriors on Facebook like 15 years ago, and I'm like, nah, it's all gone. Delete. I'm not trying to save the world on social media anymore. I do my bit at work, and then I come here and I do my stuff here with you guys, and I prefer this. I prefer the way it is. I did want to mention, I'm going to start trying to give you guys the rundown on what's coming up on Coast to Coast AM. It's a few hours after I go off the air. I know that. It's like 2 or 3 hours. Yes, Victor, I did ensure the show Cash Cab was actually funny. My wife used to love that show, so I did end up watching quite a bit of it with her, and I did enjoy it. It was good. It's fun. I want the roof of the car. I want that in my car. How do I get that in my car? So anyway, tonight on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie, starting at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific, they're going to have on PhD and author William R. Forstein, and he'll be discussing what we can learn from recent disasters, including the North Carolina flood and the LA fires. He'll address our lack of preparedness, threats to our electrical and communication systems, and events such as EMP and solar storms. You know, this is a discussion, it's very current. The two things right now that threaten humanity more than anything else in the world. People are going to say, Russia and China. No. There's two things that threaten humanity more than anything else in the world, and it seems like we don't even want to talk about it. But we've got to think about things like this. The biggest threat that we have every day is an explosion on the sun, a solar storm. Number one threat. It's a solar storm. The lack of it's because it's power and communications. It wipes out our power. It wipes out communications. It wipes out everything. It sets us back to a third world. Basically, in 1 minute, it's the 6th century again. Everything we have in this entire room is dark, and we're living on the land just like that. And I got news for you. This land will not support the people that are here. If everybody in my town here started going out and hunting the hogs and hunting the deer and hunting the squirrels and hunting everything you can eat, it would all be gone in a matter of 2 or 3 weeks. And that's still with people starving in the meantime. So, yes, Wesley, I will cover all riots. If you know of one, let me know. I will cover all riots. I've looked tonight. I don't cover overseas riots. I do in the bottom right corner have a protest that's going on in Tel Aviv right now, an anti-Trump and anti-Netanyahu protest that's going on in Tel Aviv, Israel. And in the center right, I've got a bunch of different views from the Middle East where we're watching for attacks going either way from Iran and Israel. So we are covering that, but there is no riots that I am aware of or even civil unrest that I'm aware of in the United States. If you know of anything, let me know. I'm working on an alert system so that you guys will have some way to alert me. I'm working on an alert system. I want a system, you guys listen, this is going to be pretty cool. I want a system to where you can send me alerts. Like if you see something I should cover, you can send me an alert. I'm working on that. I'm working on which method I'm going to use to do it and how we're going to do it. And I may even try to make it to where you can sign up to get the alerts as well. Wesley, I haven't heard a thing. The last one, Friday night, there was a few people got together in LA. I had that up for a few minutes, and then it went away. But not a lot. We have not had a whole lot coming on for riots, or no riots at all. As a matter of fact, civil unrest, not really. Protests, yes, I've seen a few, but they've all been civil. So we're definitely keeping an eye on that. That Philadelphia one is old. I know that. It's just rolling. It's old. Anyway, that was the first 2 hours of Coast to Coast. They're going to talk about all that, and there's a lot to talk about when it comes to the electromagnetic pulse, the sun flares, all that. There's a lot to talk about there. And our general lack of preparedness for things that can happen to us here. We prepare every day for hurricanes and tornadoes. We build bomb shelters. We put our houses up on stilts. We do all this stuff, but really we never really prepared for the solar storm. So, yes, that's what we have tonight. We have civil rest. The second half of Coast to Coast tonight from 3 to 5 a.m. Eastern, they're going to have on author and near-death experiencer Peg Fields. She's going to talk about the aftermath of her near-death experience, or NDE as they call them, and how she has transformed the lives of countless souls. She'll also address past lives, the power of manifestation, and disembodied consciousness. What we may call ghosts or stuck souls. They're going to talk about all that tonight on Coast to Coast AM with George Norrie. If you guys want to know what stations they're on, I do believe they've got that here. Let me see if I can find that. They used to have a station list. I bet it's at the bottom. Local stations. Here we go. If you guys want to know if Coast to Coast is in your town, click this link and check, because it's worth it. You click that link and then you click on your state, and it will list everyone in the state. Here, I'm looking. Yeah, there's mine, and there's mine right there. So yeah, it does list it. So you could probably figure it out there. But yeah, it's available in a bunch of different places in Florida, and you can see that there. But whatever place you're in, if you can't get it, then what you do is you just go stream a radio station that does get it. Just go to a station and stream that station in whatever town, in Peoria or whatever, as long as it's getting that show that you want. Yeah, you know, sometimes it gets difficult when, and I know you guys probably don't want to hear this, but I'm just going to be honest. I don't have a very big channel, and I find myself, I'm answering 40, 50 comments a day. I'm about a day behind right now on my YouTube comments. I answer about 25 to 50 emails a day on 3 different email addresses that have to do with this. That's not work, that's this. And that's not a whole lot, but I'm not that big of a channel yet. I can only imagine these guys that have got their silver plaques and they got 400,000 subscribers, and the people are sending them emails and everything else. It sucks because you want to get back to everybody. You want to respond to everybody. You want to show everybody, yeah, I get you, I hear you. Here's what I think about what you said. And I'm still trying to do that. There'll eventually come a day where I have to just stab at it more than doing it all the way through like I do now. But that's probably it, Aquarius. A lot of these guys, they'll go on a show like Coast and they'll get 600 or 800 responses, and they don't respond to all of them. It is what it is. Yes, holiday fireworks. I will be on July 4th. I'll be on July 4th, and I have my tower cam up here, and I also have some other tower cams that I'm going to put up from here, and we're going to be able to see the fireworks going on. So it's pretty cool. We're going to watch some of that. Of course, if there's any breaking news going on, we'll check that out as well. And you guys remember, when you are when you're out there and if you see something while I'm live, let me know, okay? Because I will immediately go and see if it's something we can cover. as you go make that coffee. Um, keep trying. Sometimes it helps if you put something cool in the subject line, something like a little hook that makes your story sound better than everybody else's. I don't know. That's about the only advice I have. I sometimes if someone's real busy, they'll just read down through the subjects. You want it to have a nice hook. Ugh, man, sorry about all the yawning. Do want to go back to here and go to my posts. All right, let me bring this over here. All right, so summer field day. I heard from the local group here that they did really good out there. My group up in Tampa that I'm with did good. We did 454 contacts, something like that. And we did really good up there. We had 3 radios operating. We were on 5 or 6 different bands, and we had a really good time. So that was field day. China has made a breakthrough. They're sending lasers from spacecraft down to Earth from geosynchronous satellites down to Earth, and they're able to get transfer rates of over 1 gigabit per second using a single laser light. I think that's amazing. Gigabytes, maybe that's gigabytes per second, because that's even more amazing. At 2 watts of power, which is that's about what an LED light bulb takes, 2 or 3 watts of power. It's incredibly efficient. It's a high power laser beam. It maintains a tight, clean signal all the way from the geostationary orbit to the ground station on Earth. Adaptive optics correct for real-time atmospheric distortion, much like those used in astronomical observations. This is really cool. This is going to, every few years we double or triple the amount of speed we're able to send. This again is going to be another quantum leap in speed. It looks like pretty amazing stuff. Breaking news. I need to get my news. I need to get my sound bar up here. I need my breaking news sounder right now. Logbook of the World's down again. This time they're supposedly fixing it. Yeah, one gigabyte transfer rate from space on 2 watts. Sounds pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, right when all this is going on with field day and everything else, Logbook of the World's down again. They said that they took it down on purpose. Good morning, BJ. They said they took it down on purpose because they want to switch it to a cloud-based service. Well, that's one of them things. I mean, okay, hopefully that's what they're doing and it didn't just go down again and they're disguising it as a maintenance thing. But anyway, if you try to log to Logbook of the World, once again, it's down for an indeterminate amount of time while they migrate it to a cloud-based system. Something most of the rest of the world did 10 years ago. Yeah, this story really aggravated the shit out of me. There's this little AM station that operated for many, many years up in Memphis, Tennessee. And you guys know, Tennessee, Memphis, anyway, this station operated for years up there. And these copper thieves show up out at this little AM station that's been transmitting for many, many years, and they steal all the copper. I'm surprised they didn't get electrocuted. They obviously must have de-energized it somehow before they did it, and then stole the copper before the engineer got there to figure out why it went off the air. I don't know how they got the job done, but these thieves managed to rip off and cut You can see there, cutting all the feed lines, cutting everything that's coming in here, and taking everything that they just wanted to take. Look at this. Those are all isolators that used to hold the big, huge wires that would come in from the transmitter towers. And they literally just stole all the copper wire out of there. They did just an amazing amount of damage. Absolutely amazing amount of damage to all this equipment. What a shame. It really pisses me off. I hate thieves, man. I just freaking hate thieves. And, you know, there you go. So, it was completely off the air from May 18th to June. They did finally get it back on the air. They did about $170,000 in damage, guys. $170,000 in damage. And, you know, they did put it back on the air, but, you know, sometimes when you break into an old station like this and steal all the copper, they don't go back on the air. They're done. They pack it up and go home. And that's the last thing we want, is our radio stations going off the air. So I just thought I would bring that to everybody's attention. It kind of aggravated me this week. But they did deploy a backup, a very low power backup. They were able to do something. But anyway, that was WGSF 10:30 a.m. in Memphis, Tennessee. What else do we got going on? All right, that's about it there. Does anybody have anything they would like me to bring up tonight? Please let me know in the chat. And I'm checking for live videos, so let's see what we got going on out there. Oh, Senate begins a marathon session. Who cares? No. Let me try this. All right, so we got up here. We do, well, because copper is an amazing transmitter of electricity, and it's still fairly economical. But not so economical, because you can make some money on it. If you get some heavy pieces of copper, you can really make some money on it. I would want to know where this stuff gets turned in. Somebody has to know all this stuff just got ripped out of a radio station. I don't know. No, it was a small locally owned radio station, which is I wouldn't have been as mad if it was a clear channel station, because they have plenty of money to put it right back on the air. Copper, folks, yeah. The Japanese space debris removal satellite planned to use magnetism. Interesting idea. Just take small amounts of power to create a magnetic field. I could see why we'd be able to do that, and then you could just get close to something and suck it in. But what's it gonna? I'll have to go read about that, Victor, because I haven't read about that one yet. But it is interesting to me. All right, guys, I've been on for a little over 2 hours. One last call. Let's see if there's something you would like me to address. Like I said, I'm going to go off now because I need to try to get some sleep. I got to get caught up on my sleep. And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to come out here with a fresh brain, and I'm going to get these town-specific scanner feeds up. And they'll stay up even in the evening while I'm up on this channel. All this will be up at the same time. So, and then I'm going to try to get the 7.2 back up over on Starship After Dark. And also, I'm keeping the frog cam going. There's a bunch of frogs out there right now. I can see them. And that's at Carlotta Alata. And you guys make sure you go by there and give my wife a like and a subscribe. We are so close on the channel there. My wife has 964 subscribers. and we really would like to go ahead and finish this paperwork up and get that 1,000 done and get it all locked in. So if you guys could help, I would appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed to her, just throw her a subscribe. She does neat videos, she does little adventure stuff, and she keeps this camera going here between her and I. And it is these big ass toads, man. They're huge. And when you say, I can't really tell how big they are, well, that thing in the front that looks like a swimming pool, that's a full-size oven pan. So you can figure it out from there. These frogs weigh pounds. I mean, they weigh like 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds. They're so big. And they're just big, fat frogs. Thanks, Victor. Thanks, Ding Ding. I appreciate that. Yep. Yeah, it was like an Ocean 11 style copper heist, you know. I can't believe they make that much money from it. But yeah, I mean, they cut through a chain link fence. They went way out to a remote area. They cut through a chain link fence. They disabled the transmitter. And then they ripped out all that wire, and then they got the F out of there before anybody showed up. So, I don't know, crazy. Great North, thank you for being here, and thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, I try, and you know what? When we had the riots going on and all that, we had 9 live screens going at the same time. When we have tornadoes going on, we just the other night, and I know it sounds like a Garth Brooks song. Just the other night. Anyway, we were up in North Dakota, and we had a tornado on the ground, and we had, believe it or not, we had 8 storm chasers that had this thing in sight, 8 of them at one time, and we captured all 8 of them at one time with the radar in the middle. It was awesome, and I've got that saved. You can go back and watch it on the channel under videos. It's like 3 or 4 back now. You'll see it there. It's got an old style television with a sticky note on it. You'll see it. Yes, and thanks, Peggy. Thank you guys, and thanks to Pam, and thanks to Damn It Danny and Victor. Thank you guys for being my mods. And like I said, in the next few nights, I'm going to be promoting a few more mods here. I just want to make sure everybody understands before I do that I'm not wanting to censor speech. I just want to keep it to the point that the people are not spamming on here, and people are not like trying to get my viewers to go somewhere else. I mean, that's really the only things. There we go. And yep, I appreciate it. Thank you, 3 Pistols. You're always welcome. And I will be back again tomorrow night, and every night except Saturday night. I do have to have that night off. But I'm going to be here every other night other than that. All right, if anything big comes in, and I mean, if I've got alerts set that if something a plane crashes into the White House, it'll wake me up at 4 in the morning, and I will get on here. So I can, unless I'm at work during those. I've got about a 6-hour window when I'm at work, from the time I leave till the time I get back, because I only work 5 hours a day at the station, because I do pre-show, and then we do the show, and then I go home. So I work 5 hours. It takes me about 20 minutes to get to and from work each way. So there's about 6 hours of the day where I'm unavailable. Other than that, I go live if something happens, and I'm watching all the time. So yep, there you go. And 7.3, I love that everybody uses 7.3 now. That's a ham radio thing. It comes from the old days of the teletype. And if someone was done sending a message and they wanted to say, okay, I'm done, have a good day, they would say 7.3. That was the code for I'm done, have a good day. And so we still here 120 years later are still using that code to say we're signing off, have a good day, and which is what I'm going to do right now. So thank you everybody for being here live from Starship Studios in Southwest Florida. My name's Ian, KO4EFS, and this is Starship Studios, the sights and sounds of Earth. And we'll see you guys all back here tomorrow night about 8:30 or so when I can get live. We'll see you back here. Hope to see you down the log or on the next adventure, or just tomorrow night will work. We'll see you later. Have a good night, everybody. 7 3s.